Cool.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you guys very much. Good job. Congrats. Keep that one too.
Yeah.
So Dana, one question I can follow up on what I was ending with after Ronda.
Does everybody get me if I sit?
Yeah.
Casey, do you need a better spot or you want to come here? Hey, Dustin, I'm over here.
Yeah. Go, leave, have fun. You guys want me to stand or sit? You cool? Want me to stand? Sit? If you can't see me, I'll stand.
So Dana, I guess what I wanted to ask is, there were, even after the fight tonight, there were a lot of people, on the internet, who wants to pay for a, first round armbar, big deal and all that. and I wonder if, do you think in any way you were vindicated and Ronda was vindicated just by the way she fought?
I never felt the need to be vindicated. You know what I mean? I never felt like I needed to be vindicated. Everybody was saying that the Henderson-Machida fight should have been the main event, right? No. And nothing against those two. That would have stunk the place out. Imagine if that was the last fight of the night, people would have left here pissed, You're always going to have idiots on the internet that say stupid shit. I can tell you what, this thing sold out. The gate was bigger than the Cain Velasquez Jr. Dos Santos fight. And there's a lot of other figures that I'm working on right now. It's going to end up being the biggest women's pay-per-view of all time. Biggest women's pay-per-view fight ever. It's probably, I don't know about the gate yet.
What is the biggest prior?
What I heard is 120,000 buys.
125,000. Ali Frazier.
125,000 Ali Frazier.
Yeah, like 2001, whatever.
Yeah, that's the biggest. This is going to smoke that. Smoke it. So, it's the most successful women's fight of all time.
Do you know, some people were saying when we were talking the other day about what the most highly paid woman was, some people were saying Gina made $250 when she fought Cyborg that time. Do you know any way?
Well, if the pay-per-views are doing, I don't care what anybody made, because I've looked at a lot of women's numbers. This is probably going to be the biggest purse ever for a woman, too.
Hey, Dana, Tito was down here talking to us. He said that
I bet he was.
Yeah. He's looking for a New Year's fight because after a 3-fight deal, I guess, with the other organization, and he wants it at 140, even if it's not for a title. Any your thoughts on that?
No, I have no thoughts on that. That means nothing to me. She's gonna fight the next girl. Let me tell you what, shit's rolling here. Cyborg's not a part of it. They can have as many press conferences as they want to have, or show up here in the back, or do whatever they want to do. She had the opportunity to sign with the UFC. She chose not to. This thing's rolling. This thing's moving. We're already going.
You're almost
This is the biggest, the most successful fight ever in the history of women's fighting. Christy Martin, Layla Ali, all the girls that have fought. This was a big night for women. Like we were talking about before this fight, all these talented women that are out there that are in judo and all these other things, believe me, just like I've always told you guys, when we go into a new market and shit just explodes in these new markets and people start training, and that's what's going to happen now in this women's division. This 135-pound division is going to become pretty nasty pretty quick.
Well, do you think you might get another division then out of it if that in fact happens, that girls at 145 or 125 might come?
You know how long it's going to take me to get the world to know the girls that are here now? It takes time to build these divisions. Still building these new men's divisions that we started, Cyborg missed the boat. They can fucking do whatever they want to do and play games. You know what I mean? You over-negotiate sometimes, I used to be, let me tell you what, I used to be Tito's manager. And the biggest negotiation I ever had for Tito was with Bob Meyerowitz. You know how hard it is negotiating with a guy who doesn't give a shit? It's not fun, man. I couldn't sleep for a year doing that deal with Tito and with Bob Meyerowitz. And there comes a point, I always made sure that we were going to get what we wanted, but don't ever over-negotiate. They've already over-negotiated. They're gone. It's over. You're fighting in Invicta. Do your thing.
Well, Danny, you said
the world isn't going to fucking stop. Nobody even knows who the fuck Cyborg is. She's got 30,000 followers on Twitter. Nobody knows her.
You said in the past, though, you think Ronda at some point will want that fight. You know, that
Yeah.
you,
Well, then that's different. If Ronda comes, she's the champ. She comes one day and says, you know what, I've cleaned out this division. I feel like I fought everybody. I'll move up to 140 and fight her. You know? And if Cyborg's still fighting at that time or whatever goes on, then we'll see what happens.
Can you explain the importance of why it is that you feel like you have to develop the division? You know, you've said, I need to get this belt defended a few times before I can talk about 140, 145. But why is that?
That's the way I am with all the divisions. You get somebody in there who establishes the division and the title, and that you build a star. You know, we're in one of those positions right now. How about this? How about Jose Aldo came out and said, "There's no way in hell I'm fighting Pettis."
What?
He's absolutely refusing to fight Pettis. Doesn't think he deserves the shot.
Who's he think he should fight, or what's his?
What does that mean? What's
Dude, I'm moving.
Means he don't want to fight Pettis.
Does he fight him anyway?
Fucking right, he's gonna fight Pettis.
What are you going to do with contract? Where does he go from here?
I don't know. I like Josh. Nobody else does, but I do.
Do you consider H.E.A.T fighting in Brazil since he's one of the only ones?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. You know, there are a lot of people tonight. I was, again, Twitter and the internet and everything else, but saying that was the worst decision ever. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, give me a break. Let me tell you what. Ed Soares came over to me and goes, I go, what? I have no, I think Machida won the fight, but let me tell you what, if they called Dan Henderson's name, it wouldn't shock me either. They didn't fight the last 3.5 minutes of the fight. They didn't do anything. First round is, he gets that top position and maybe steals the round. You know, he Sugar Ray Leonard at the end of that round there and maybe took it, right? Second round was close too. Third round sucked. Now that neither one of them should have got a point for the third round. It was terrible. You know, you fight fights like that, who knows what's going to happen? The people booing and going crazy like, oh my God, this is a disaster. If Dan Henderson would have won, I would have said, I can see that too. It wasn't one of those fights it's one of those fights that you don't want to fight. And stand there at the end with the judge holding your hand, wondering which one they're going to raise.
I don't stand on the Pettis thing now.
What?
What happens now with Aldo?
The battle begins.
When it was announced, did you not agree to it?
Press conference. He
Yeah,
said,
well, what happened?
Cool. At the
Yeah.
press conference when he talked about it,
Yeah.
he was like, that sounds great.
And then Andre Pedernera was in England and sat down with me and Lorenzo, and he's like, we don't think he deserves it. What do you mean you don't think he deserves it? Well, he might be the number one guy at 50, but how does that make him number one? Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you serious? Did you seriously just ask me that question? It's like if Aldo wanted to move up to 155, we're going to say he's not the number one contender? What are you talking about? Listen, I wouldn't want to fight Pettis either.
Did he say who he thinks deserves it instead?
No, just not Pettis.
So right now,
He's absolutely refusing to fight Pettis.
so right now is that fight off?
No, that fight's on. He's going to fight Pettis or he's not going to like how this is going to turn out.
If you have a fight, you have the next women's fight, you have the Ultimate Fighter finale, ready to announce any others currently?
I'm sorry, ask me that again?
You have the next women's fight at the Ultimate Fighter finale. Do you have any other ones, any other female fights to announce? At this point?
No, not that I know of. Not that I'm aware. We might, but just not that I don't know.
Do you get any kind of a time frame as far as when you want Ronda to fight again, like July, June, September, or whatever?
I don't yet, no. My whole, the way I treated this fight is let's see what happens that night. Let's see how this whole thing goes, and it went well.
What can you do for an encore with her, though, after such a great build-up? It seems like...
Well, there's other real tough girls out there, too, for her to fight. Listen, Ronda's a star, man. Listen, whether people want to admit it or not, or people don't like it or not, too fucking bad. The girl's a star, man. People love her, and people want to see her. And she's fun to watch fight. I mean, there was no bigger naysayer than me. I was the one. I was like, this ain't going to happen. I was the one who was making that decision. It ain't going to happen here. Better wait till I retire or die. It ain't happening in this company. And then I started watching fights, educated myself, and now, I mean, there's a lot of good women in that division, and there's a lot of good fights for her.
Do you have the names of the other women that have been signed to the division? You said that there were 10.
They were all here. They were all over the place tonight. Every one of them were here tonight at the fights.
Kat and Sarah McMahon, we have Alexis Davis, Ronda Rousey, Liz.
Sean Shelby knows them. Who?
And then I was curious about the other 3 or 4.
She was asking a question.
Oh yeah, I don't know the answer to it though. Sean Shelby could answer that question. He knows all of them.
What if another light heavyweight emerges with maybe? Could that happen? That would convince you that no, it's not.
That could slide into that slot? No. Well, Chael's going to fight Jones. Right. Machida's the guy. Machida's number 1. Yeah. Gustafsson's going to fight in Sweden. And then, we're a little backed up right now because of the Ultimate Fighter. We know how this happens, But Jones will fight that fight, then he'll fight Machida, and then we'll see who's next.
When you think of Machida, he turned down the Jones fight at 152, I guess.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think which one it was, but he turned it down. And tonight he puts in a stinker. So in some ways, you say, well, what is his, deserving it? What if Gustafsson looks great against Misasi? Why wouldn't he get consideration?
Yeah. Kev? I don't disagree with you, my friend. I don't disagree with you.
When's the last time you talked to Gina?
On Twitter? Yesterday. Person, 10 fights ago. I don't know. The last UFC fight she was at. Gina's a movie star, man. Gina's out making movies. She's, I actually liked it. She made it, and she went on, and she's doing movies, and she's doing good things. I like that. I like to see that happen. If Gina came back and said she wanted to fight again, we'd take her back.
Would you pursue that now?
I'm not going to pursue her. No, she's got her thing, man. I'm happy for her. Good for her.
Has she told you that she's thought about it?
She hasn't told me, but I've heard that she said that she would be interested in coming back, and I'm not going to push her. I like her being a movie star. That's pretty cool. But if she wants to come back, I wouldn't say no to her either.
Do you think that would be the biggest competition ever?
Yeah, probably be a big fight. Yeah, that'd be a big one.
Would you give her an immediate title shot?
I don't know. She's been out for a while. I don't know if she would want an immediate title shot. When you take that long off, you want to come back and get a fight.
3.5 years.
Or make 135.
Yeah.
She couldn't make 145.
I know.
130.
No?
No, she was missing 45 a lot.
I guess that ain't going to happen then.
If Jones beats someone in April, would you focus on trying to make Jones Silva, or are you going to try to focus on setting up Leota or Jones?
It's a good question, my friend. I don't know.
You got another fight coming for Sweden. They've been wondering over there if you've got a new co-main coming or if it's.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Dude, this is all I've been. Dude, I'm telling you, I worked my ass off this week. I've been going since 5:45 every day. This week was brutal, man. This was one of the craziest weeks in the history of this company. It was crazy.
You talked about it being the highest women's pay-per-view of all time, but how about just in terms of UFC? Where does it rank against other UFC events? Is it average, above average?
It did very well, man. Again, these are all trending numbers, looking good. Yeah, we knew Friday. No, what was the press conference? Thursday. We knew Thursday that this thing was bigger than anything any woman had ever done before.
Right.
We knew that Thursday.
But you're on a little bit different scale than 125,000 pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
you're saying it's a little unfair?
Well, I think it's an unfair comparison because you guys are beyond that. So where would you put it up against?
I'll tell you this. Dave Meltzer's here. He knows this. We've had a couple of fights that have done some, scary numbers for us. You know what I mean? And everybody talked all this shit how this thing wasn't going to deliver and wasn't going to do anything. So I think it's fair to say that these women did do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the Brendan Schaub fight?
The Brendan Schaub? No. That's why we put 100 guys on a card. Not every fight's going to be, That's not the fight I expected. Not the fight I expected. But Schaub's been knocked out a couple times, too, and he's in there with a big puncher. He ain't going to run in there with his chin out.
What happens to LeVar now?
I don't know.
Dana, you mentioned the other day out with Rogan that you guys are getting closer to New York with the legislation. Can't speak right now. Anyways, my question is there any sort of time frame, like a month that you guys have in mind where this might happen?
We do. Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good about New York. Really good.
Third quarter, fourth quarter.
I just don't want to talk about it. Talking about it doesn't bring any,
But
I'm just feeling really good about it.
Because
are you working for legislation though first, or you're going to go in without legislation?
That's a tricky one. I don't want to answer any of these questions. It's not worth it. Let's not fuck this thing up. You know what I mean? Let's just let this thing happen. Let the lawyers deal with this. I'll end up saying some shit that'll piss somebody off, and you know.
What else?
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to wait another fucking year if I say something stupid here. Let's just not even answer this question.
Dana, is there any question at all that Ronda would be a main eventer next time out as well?
She's the champion, man. Yeah.
You'll just keep her main event.
She's the champion. But you know, it depends on if we have 2 title fights. Obviously, no matter what title fight we have, she's going to be light, you know, so she'd be the co-main event. But if we did one,
Obviously, if GSP has a fight, he's a main eventer.
Yeah.
He had that strategy
exactly.
already.
Yeah. Oops, I'm sorry. She would be the co-main event. Yeah, if there's another title on.
Dana, did you read the New York Times story about the executive war in MMA and all that?
I cruised through it. I didn't really read it. I think it was very Viacom friendly. What'd you think of it?
Honestly, I thought it was a good article. I didn't like the way it ended. I thought it ended sort of abruptly. I thought there was some interesting points, but I thought from the New York Times I kind of expected something more in depth.
Yeah.
But I understand.
It was a puff piece on Viacom.
I didn't think it was slanted in any way. I was expecting more.
I did.
Maybe I had high.
I did. If you knew all the interviews that were really done for that thing and people they talked to and stuff, it was very Viacom heavy. But whatever.
Was the number that they used as far as the Viacom paid for Bellator, is that what you better?
I have no clue if that's true or not. If that is true, holy shit, that's crazy. Yeah. But the thing you have to understand is there were a bunch of people. There were a lot of investors in that company. A lot of investors. A lot of guys invested a lot of money into that, and they all got paid back. So.
Aside from having fights for just the other 2 women that are fighting in the next go-around with H.E.A.T and Kat Zingano, you talk about building that weight class up and star power. What do you do outside of just having women win to build these fighters' brands? You had great prime times leading up to this fight. What do you do for them, if anything special?
Yeah, well, the prime time are for select fights, you know what I mean? We only get so many a year. We only have so many a year that we can do if we want to get the right distribution for it. And that show is fucking expensive, really expensive. So we do countdown shows, you know. We do a pretty good job of getting out there and letting people know who the fighters are. When we put together a good piece on somebody, the biggest, most important part is that they go out and deliver in their fights. You know what I mean? And what was cool is, I think, hands down, this one was one of the best prime times ever done. Top 2, you know? Because I really love BJ and St. Pierre, too. That one that we did on BJ and St. Pierre. And then when you go out and deliver that the way that they did, like the world was watching tonight. Fucking SportsCenter kept tweeting this thing all night. They got like 7 million followers. They've never tweeted anything about the UFC, ever. You know? So tonight was a big night on a lot of levels.
Do you think some of this, as far as brand building, I mean, even, you know, just forget about this show, that the UFC brand was built, you know, or, you know, I mean, you're strong already, but maybe it helped you in some circles? You know, just having this fight and having this kind of exposure in different places.
I do. I really do. And the thing that was really shocking to me was the hardcore fans. Their response to it was disgusting. Number 1. Number 2, the fans. I mean, the media's response to it was awesome. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the mainstream. There wasn't one bad story. No freak show. No, you know what I mean? And these prominent media sources, the front page of the LA Times, the front page, USA Today, CNN on their website, the front page yesterday, HBO Sports, you know, all these different outlets that would never cover us before or would never give us that type of placement. It was awesome, man. It was a really cool moment for me to see the way that the media handled this fight. And I always felt like, you know, Ronda, because of her, you know, where she came from and who she is, it really was cool, and the media agrees, and they covered it. I just loved it, man. I can't tell you how much I really respected the way the media covered this fight. Really cool.
We didn't see Stitch and House again tonight. And last week you kind of just said they were babies and all that, but we thought maybe they'd be back tonight.
You know what I don't like? I told you guys the other night, yeah, I guess they're not putting in the A-team. That's just bullshit, man. Bullshit. I don't like it. Everybody who works here is the A-team. You know, there's a lot of cut men out there that are great cut men. Those guys are friends of mine that I've known for years since the boxing days. that brought them in, and you know, they lost their minds a little bit. You know, you don't do that stuff.
You're severing ties with them at this point?
No, we're not severing ties. Just it's disrespectful to all the other people that work here. It's great you think you're the best. You think you're the A-team. You know? Told them I don't even know what the fuck that means. It means people are in trouble. They call you guys. You guys were military guys, and you come in and you protect. You know? What the fuck does the A-team mean? I don't like it, and you know, you got a lot of people that work here, and a lot of people that do a lot of good things. Nobody runs around here calling themselves the A-team. You know?
Dana, did you clear the air with Diaz's lawyer?
What's that?
Did you have a conversation with Diaz's lawyer?
Yeah.
About the whole.
Yeah.
So are we on the same page now?
Yeah. I think so. How'd you know we talked?
He told me.
Yeah? What'd he say?
He said, I spoke to Dana.
What did he say? I said.
He said, stop instigating. And he said, there's the air, and you were receptive to it.
He said that I said what?
And he told me to stop.
Instigating?
Yes, and
Okay.
he said you were receptive to what he had to say.
I was receptive?
Yeah. That is not a direct quote, but he was happy with the conversation.
Cool. I'm happy he was happy with that conversation.
Are you not happy with it?
Yeah. And I'm even happier that he was happy with that conversation.
What was the conversation?
Why do you care? You're an instigator. What do you think that conversation was like? How long have you known me?
Who reached out to who?
Huh?
Who reached out to who?
He reached out to me.
The bottom line, is he or is he not doing his thing?
He did it, yeah. He did it. I don't know. Is Craig here? Craig's never here anymore. Hey, hit Craig and ask him if Nate did what he was supposed to do. Nick did. Nick ended up doing it. There was somebody came out and said that he didn't show up for a fourth interview, which isn't true. There was the three that I talked to you guys after, and then, you know, and I wasn't happy about his lawyer's supposed comments that it wasn't true and all this other stuff. So we talked 2 nights ago or something, and we straightened it out.
Now, how can it be? I mean, it's either he is or he isn't. And I mean, it was like, you know, how can there be a dispute about it? Either he did show up or he didn't show up.
He did not.
Right,
and that's a fact. He did not. Neither did his brother Nate. And we spent $50,000, over $50,000 in production costs. And guys cruising around Stockton, California, and not interviewing people, you know? And it's not funny. It's not funny. Listen, we're very cool and very lenient in a lot of ways. I mean, look at this company and look how we are. You know, we're lenient with a lot of things. We let a lot of things fly, but that's just absolute bullshit, you know? You know, the Diaz brothers missed a few flights here and there, and it's just it's not cool, man. It's not cool. We've treated Nate and Nick with respect, you know? Treated them the way they should be. Anytime they come in, they want to negotiate their contracts. We do the things, you know, we're good to everybody. And, you know, at least give us the respect to show up and not blow 50 grand on not showing up for interviews that you're supposed to do.
So, what, I mean...
and then for Caesar to go out and tweet what he tweeted, and I talked to Caesar about it too, you know? But... Sweat?
Busy night.
That's disgusting.
How, you know, where is it going to be before you do what you did at 137?
I hope we don't come to that.
But you have to think about it. You have to be prepared now that you know he's done it.
Can you tell I'm close? I'm close, man. I'm really close. And I don't want to be. I don't want to do this. This, you know, it sucks. None of this is easy. These two girls worked their asses off this week, man. And I know what it feels. I've been doing it too. I did it all week. I know. It's not fun. It's not the great. It's part of the job. It's part of the job. And all the fans like, shut up, Dana. Just let Nick fight. You shut up, idiots. This is how it works. Okay? This is the job. This is what we do. Okay? Go to your fucking job and tell your boss, yeah, well, I don't want to do this or do that. It's not how it works. It's part of the job. You know, I've shown the Diaz brothers a ton of respect. They can show some respect back.
How was the conversation with Caesar?
What?
How was the conversation with Caesar?
We had a conversation.
If you had to pull Diaz, I'm sorry.
No conversations are fun with me when you're doing stuff like this. You know, you think you're going, hey, Caesar, buddy, what's happening? How the guys doing? Everybody training up there? Good. Glad to know. It's not. We're not having those kind of. Huh?
Did you upgrade him?
No. No. What'd you say, sweetheart?
I'm sorry. If you had to pull Nick from that fight, who would you put in his place if you had to come down to that choice?
Well, you know, we got that whole tournament going on up there. I don't know. I don't even want. I hope I don't even have to think about that. It's the last thing on earth I want to do.
Is there any update on Jeremy Stevens? Like where he stands?
Jeremy Stevens?
Yeah, with his court case.
I don't know. Last I heard from him, everything was going great with his court case. So I don't know. I thought you were going to ask me if I talked to somebody else.
Well, have you talked to Jeremy Stevens?
I have not. I don't know.
Have you talked to anybody else around the Diaz?
Call the union. I bet they know how his case is going.
Do you think it's possible that Brendan Schaub fought the way he fought? Maybe out of fear of being cut to preserve a victory? And would you ever consider cutting it out for win?
I don't think so. I think that he's been clipped the last couple times he fought. And when you're going against a guy like LeVar Johnson, the one thing you know that he's got is punch and power and can knock you out. And I guarantee that was their game plan going in. Let's take this guy down. I'm sure they hoped they did more damage on the ground than they did. It didn't work out that way.
Would you consider cutting a guy off a win?
You know how many times I wanted to cut a guy after wins? A lot. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we'd ever do that when we start cutting guys after wins. Might want to, but we wouldn't.
Are you happy for E.J. Smith? He went to
Did what? Yeah, I'm so happy for him, man. Another guy that I go way back with. Way back with. Yep. You're talking, fuck, I go back 1996 with him, 97. Yeah.
96, I think he graduated high school.
Yeah. He was boxing. Him, and I don't know if you remember his stepbrother was a heavyweight, right? He actually works at the Palms now. He's a security guard over there, yeah. And their dad, his stepdad, the heavyweight's real dad, used to train them. He was the nicest guy in the world. We all used to be at Golden Gloves together.
Is there any, could you even kind of like rank where this night stands as far as when you look back? Because, you know, historically, when you look back at all the stuff you've done, this is going to end up, 20 years from now being a pretty key night.
Yeah. It was a big night for women. It's a big weekend for women in sports. Danica Patrick tomorrow, too. And I'm happy, man. I'm just happy with the way everything went. I'm happy with, I couldn't say enough good things. It's been exhausting. This was an exhausting one, man. This one whooped my ass, but it was fun. I was really excited about tonight. I couldn't wait for tonight's fight. And then when the fight happened, she had her back and she had the choke. She got out of the choke, and then they got on the ground. It was such a great fight. It was such a great way to end the night. It was.
Price. That fight was
awesome.
Totally insane. Are you putting that up there as an early fight of the year candidate?
Awesome. Yeah, it should be. I think you guys are the ones that decide the fight of the years. That one should be. Yeah, it was awesome. We had some great fights on the card tonight. There were some really good ones.
You're excited about the return of Robbie Lawler and matching him up.
Yeah, I love that. That was what I expected. The other thing, I'm glad you asked me that, dude. I'm glad you asked me that. The people were booing at the beginning of that fight. Now listen, none of us, Robbie Lawler, Josh Koscheck, none of us like the up against the fence bullshit, right? Standing there, those dudes were working. If you know wrestling and you know this sport, that was a war. That was a wrestling war between those two. That was fun. I like that fight. And I like that fight going into this fight.
And Robbie made a statement, right?
Yeah, he did. He did. The other thing about Lawler, too, I don't know if you guys noticed at the press conference, they said, I grew up while I was gone, and I love being here now, and I'm ready to do this now. Plus, he looks good at 170 pounds, way better than he looks at 185. He looks slow and lethargic and out of shape and like he didn't give a shit at 185. He looks like the old Robbie Lawler at 170 pounds.
Again, proving that Strikeforce had good fighters.
Yeah, you know what? Strikeforce had hungry fighters, man. These fucking guys are hungry. Most of them haven't fought in a year. They didn't know what was going on with their career. Couldn't pay their bills, all this shit. Now they're in here. They know what it was like to be in that. They're hungry, man. I love it. I love it. The Strikeforce kids are going to raise the bar on all these other guys.
How much do you like that Rockhold Belfort matchup?
I like it a lot. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Do you think it was fitting that Big John was the ref in the main event, considering
His history?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you think it's time that he and Keith Kaiser figure this out?
Figure what out?
Well, he's still not welcome back.
That has nothing to do with me.
But with all the issues, I mean,
I don't even know what the issues are.
he criticized Keith, and he did apply 3 years ago. He said that there's no room for him right now. But with some of the judges and refs that you see in the
I'm not getting involved in that mess. That's up to them. You know what I mean? There's fights in California too. John can work California. You can't butt heads with the commission, man. You can't.
Room for Kim Winslow.
Huh?
There's room for Kim Winslow.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my God. Terrible. Okay. Nick did everything that he was supposed to do. They're done. And Nate starts shooting soon.
So Nick is in the clear then, because Nick
has done everything he's supposed to do. Now Nate's the one, and he's supposed to start shooting soon. So I'm very confident that he will do this shoot, and everything will be great, and we will all be a big, happy family again.
But just so we know, Nick, since he's done what he has to do, if Nate says, fuck you, Dana, I'm not doing it, doesn't affect Nick now, right?
No,
Right,
he did it.
just wanna make sure.
He did it. Did it. That's all I'm asking. Do your interviews. Cost us over 50 grand already. And then your manager has the balls to go on Twitter and say to upgrade tickets. You know what I mean? It's just rinky-dink, man.
Dana, is Anderson going to fight Chris Weidman? Is Anderson going to fight Chris Weidman?
Yeah, that's the next fight we want to do. Yep.
You think it's going to be July 4th?
It's not done yet, though.
You think it's going to be July 4th, or is it too early to say that?
Is what?
Do you think it's going to be July 4th weekend, or is it too early to say
Yeah,
that?
that's the weekend we want.
Are you looking at doing like a really big show that weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as everybody stays healthy, we're going to have some kick-ass shows this year. And everybody has been so far, knock on wood.
Do you know any update as far as Rory McDonald, as far as how badly hurt he is, or how long he'll be out?
I don't. Literally don't know anything about it. I need to find out. Yeah, I don't know.
Mentioning Anderson, have you had a chance to check out his new gym?
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't seen his gym yet. Yeah.
Pretty
Just
big.
opened yesterday, right?
Yeah, he had the grand opening party.
How was it?
It's amazing.
Yeah. What's
Nike
crazy
hooked
is,
him up. I mean,
did they really?
Oh yeah. It's awesome.
What's crazy is, it's in Torrance. We have a gym in Torrance. He has a gym in Torrance, and the Gracies have a gym in Torrance, right?
Yeah.
People are getting fucking trained in Torrance, man. How many gyms can you have in one city? It's crazy.
Well, this one's right off Crenshaw, so you could wander out and test your skills. I guess.
That's funny. All right. You guys done with me?
Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations.